Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 28th of January 2019. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts, the usual stuff. So I hope you're all feeling relaxed after the weekend. So yep. So yeah, let's get back into the trading again. And of course, don't forget that this week is the NFP week. So on Friday we will have the US jobs numbers. So yep, should be quite an interesting week. So before we start looking at the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly start jumping into the charts. The first one I want to touch on here is Nikkei. Now looking at this, of course, today's trading Nikkei here is marked by a bearish candle here, but it sold off a little bit, but still kind of remains here. It seems it still has some path, some potential to move a little bit higher here, especially given the fact that we're not far from this downside resistance line taken from the high of 2nd of October. So in a way, there is this little room here for a push higher, for another test of this downside resistance line. So for now, guys, certainly from the very short-term perspective, we're still going to aim and target slightly higher here. Like I said, this again the downside resistance line, but from the longer term perspective, in order to kind of start considering much higher levels, guys, we eventually need to see a break of this downside resistance line, and then of course a move above the 21,300 level. So this way we could kind of confirm a potential move here towards the 200 EMA, or even actually towards this little area of resistance near the 21,875 zone, which was marked here by the highs of the 13th of December last year. So for now, guys, certainly from the very short-term perspective, keep your eyes on this downside resistance line, this medium-term downside resistance line taken from the highs of the 2nd of October. On the downside, well, I mean, if this suddenly starts dropping here lower and starts taking out the 20,345 area, something like that, approximately there, guys. But to be honest, looking at this, I mean, for better confirmation, you could in a way wait until this drives below this little area of resistance here. Let me just quickly put that on the chart, and that's approximately around the 20,090 level, approximately there. You can see that back here on the 10th of January it acted as a nice area of support, also on the 8th of January, but also on the 28th of December and the 27th of December it acted as a very good area of resistance. So in a way, this is something for that better confirmation of potential declines here. This is the level to watch out for, the 20,090 level, something like that. So a night could drop below this, could open the path towards the next potential area of support, which is near the 19,250 zone. So approximately there. This was marked here by the low of the 4th of January. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. So basically, long story short, from the short-term perspective, still it seems that it could travel a little bit higher here to test this downside resistance line. But from the downside here, the downside scenario, of course, if this starts dropping below the 20,345, this is going to be the first kind of concern here, the first warning bell. And if this continues to drop further down, yep, and it continues to drop below the 20,090, then well, brace yourselves, we could see a further decline here, maybe going back to the December lows. But for now, let's continue observing it and let's see how this plays out. Jumping into one commodity, or should I say silver, or should I say precious metal, basically Of course, as you know, on Friday last week, so we had a nice push here to the upside, both in silver and gold. So the silver here breaking the downside resistance line, the short-term downside resistance line taken from the highs of the 4th of January, and now this is where it's finding its good resistance. This is where it's getting held up near the 15.75 approximately there. It certainly did have an overshoot here today already, but so for now, of course, judging by the picture that we're seeing here at this moment, certainly there is some potential for this one to travel further up. So initially, of course, we will target the recent highs that we saw here back in on the 4th of January, and that was approximately around the 15.87, something like that, guys. So this is going to be our first little small pit stop, but if the buying momentum is going to remain strong, then yep, the 16 level is going to be very attractive for silver to reach. But again, for now, guys, be very cautious. Certainly we are quite well, we did have a nice move here to the upside. In a way, what we could also see here is a little retracement, maybe back down, maybe even actually going all the way down here to test this downside resistance line from above, and then maybe rebound and push back up again. So certainly keep that idea in your head, because for, let's say, if looking at the 4-hour chart here, you could in a way start looking at maybe something like a drop below the 15.69 level. Then yep, we could maybe see that further decline here towards the pivot here, today's pivot around the 15.58 or even, like I said, the downside resistance line, a test of it from above. But like I said, for now, guys, certainly the momentum is more to the upside. If this level here, the 15.75, kind of continues to hold, continues to act as a strong area of support, we could see another push here straight away, actually higher towards that 15.87 level that I was talking about, and maybe from there already we could see maybe that little retracement back down, and then we'll just take it from there. So for now, guys, long story short, certainly on the upside we are targeting the 15.87. Right now we're observing the 15.75 level. We want to see how it plays out. But if this starts dropping below this, if silver starts dropping below this, then keep an eye on the 15.69 because this is going to be that interesting area here. If this gets broken, then we could see, like I said, a further decline towards the pivot, which is around the 15.58, or even actually a test of this downside resistance line from above. So that's, of course, all this is from the short-term perspective. This is mainly for today or maybe tomorrow, depending on how this is going to end up trading today. So yep, keep your eyes on it, but like I said, there is some potential more to the upside. Jumping into one crypto very quickly, and that's Ripple. Basically looking at this chart here, and to be honest, let me just jump back into the 4-hour on this one, as it's a bit too cramped here. Now looking at this, of course, you can see that it's declining. The cryptos are kind of falling right now. So basically what's more interesting here is that it's testing, well, it already tested the upside support line, this kind of flattish upside support line taken from the lows of the September here of last year. So the big question here is this going to act as a good area of support and just kind of will be a good bouncing ground for the bulls to, you know, to drive this one back up here, or actually we're going to get a break here and a drop lower? So for now we're just going to observe, and in terms of the upside, in order for us to, let's say, to start looking at higher levels now, again, well, we'd probably need to see this one traveling all the way above the 0.3130 level, and only then we will target. Let me just put an arrow here quickly. Let me just recycle this arrow from the previous analysis, and basically this is what I'm talking about here. So basically in order to kind of get more comfortable with higher levels, we would need to see a nice good pop above the 0.3130 level, and then we'll target higher levels, initially of course aiming for the 0.33. but then if that doesn't hold, if further acceleration to the upside could be possible here, and we will target the 0.3545. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. First, let's see what he wants to do with this upside support line. If this decides to break it to the downside, well, for us, in order to kind of start examining much lower levels, certainly initially we will target the 0.2865 area, something like that, but a drop below this level here could potentially kind of signal further declines here, and more, could trigger more selling in Ripple. But again, for now, guys, this flattish upside support line, let's keep an eye on that one. Jumping into euro dollar now, this one is a crazy one, let's put it that way. So let me just actually jump into a daily before I look at the 4 hours. So basically, this is what I was talking about last week, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this upside support line. And basically on Friday, you can see that we had a strong reversal back to the upside, where the bulls kind of managed to drive this pair back above this upside support line. And not only that, they managed to drive it all the way above the 114 level. So now it's currently stuck here, and looking at this daily chart here, it's stuck above the 114 level and the 114.25, and sorry, below the 114.25. So of course, this is what we're going to keep on monitoring. Certainly we are more bullish than bearish on this one right now, but for a better confirmation of the upside, we would need to see a nice good pop above the 114.25 level, and this way we could then aim all the way maybe back towards the 115 zone, so this nice psychological 115 level. So for now, guys, be very careful. Certainly don't exclude the possibility of maybe seeing something like a drop back down below the 114 level and going all the way to test this upside support line again. And if it holds again, then we could see maybe a nice reversal here and a jump back up here. So again, but it's still never, I mean, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way just continue monitoring this 114.25. This could be that gateway towards higher levels. On the downside, well, we're going to take a more conservative approach here and basically wait until excuse me, this drops below the 113.10 again, and if we do see something like that, then yep, we'll target lower levels like the 112.70, or even actually going all the way here lower towards the November lows of 2018. So, but again, in order to kind of consider lower levels here, a drop below the 113.10 level is needed. One more euro pair here, and that's EURJPY. So very interesting here, even though it's trading above this short-term downside resistance line here, taken from the highs of the 14th of December. Still, what's more interesting is that it's stuck here within this little range. Now, the range here is approximately between the 123.40 level on the downside, and on the upside, the 125.12, 15, something like that, guys. So, in a way, for now, actually, let me reiterate that the 125.35 on the upside. So that's probably the more important level to watch. So let me just, in that case, drag this a little bit higher here, because this 125.35 level acted not only as a good area of resistance here back on the 25th of January, but also acted as a very good area of support back on the 25th of December. So hence why we're going to keep a close eye on this one, on this level, and this is going to be our kind of gateway towards higher levels if we get a nice pop above this. And of course, if we do get something like that, then we will target the 127 level here, approximately there, marked near the highs of the 27th of December and the 28th of December. But again, like I said, for now, we're just going to continue, will remain neutral and continue monitoring these levels, this kind of little range here. And if this, let's say, suddenly starts dropping below the 123.40 level, now this is where it could become more exciting for the bears, as they could potentially drive this one towards the 122.55 zone, which was marked here by the lows of 4th of January. But for now, for now, guys, certainly this is slightly maybe more bullish, I would probably say, but again, for that upside support, for that upside, kind of further upside, we would need to see a nice good pop above the 125.35 level. So keep your eyes on that one. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's USDCHF. So this one certainly last week it had a bit of a decline here, but kind of remained trading above this this key area of support near the 0.9920 level. But today you can see already the pair is breaking that to the downside. Now, of course, the big question here is, will it actually continue falling further down, or is it actually going to reverse somewhere around here, let's say around these EMAs here? Looking at this daily chart, of course, these EMAs here, the 50 and the 21, are kind of getting combined together right now. Just slightly below that we do have the 100 EMA, so, and just slightly below that we do have another good potential area of support near the 0.9895 mark, or in a way you could kind of round it up towards the 0.99, but again, still for now this is the area that we're going to be keep monitoring, because this is going to be a nice potential area where it could potentially rebound and back and move higher. And also, just let's not forget that overall we are still trading above this long-term upside support line here, taken from the lows of February last year, and also we're trading above this short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 13th of November. So all this in a way kind of gives a more bullish outlook in the longer term, but from the short-term perspective, yes, I mean, we could see maybe a little bit more declines here excuse me, where we could then target the 0.99 or the 0.9895 level that I was talking about. So yep, for now, guys, certainly this is moving lower. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see how this level here, the 0.9920 level, plays out. If, for example, the pair remains here above this level, above the 0.9920, then, well, we could see maybe a rebound earlier here and a push higher. But for those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way wait until this drives above the 0.9960 and then target these recent highs, or even actually going towards the psychological level 1. So keep your eyes on that one. Very interesting pair. So for now, guys, in order to kind of, let's say, consider this more to the downside, well, we would need to see this the pair dropping below the 0.9845 level, approximately there, and only then we will target slightly lower levels. But then again, the downside could be limited due to this long-term upside support line. So for now, guys, let's wait and see how this plays out. And it is a very interesting pair, certainly currently declining, but again, keep your eyes on the 0.9920 level. Let's see how if it continues to hold, and we could see a nice buying activity coming in here and potentially driving the pair a little bit higher again. But again, be very cautious. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful, and sorry about running a little bit over my normal time, but I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me later on in the Traders tea time, and that's 14:15 GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a fantastic trading day, and bye for now.